Mustafa Ali. Now, he was probably the only person who had been fired who actually had like imminent plans for him. So he was going to be facing Dominic Mysterio for the North American title on the September 30th show in NXT in Sacramento, which he now isn't, and he was scheduled for other matches as well, including against Rey Mysterio. The only fun thing about Mustafa Ali is he's the only person in this list who publicly asked for his release previously, and it was denied. So
I don't get that.
It was something like 18 months ago or 2 years ago when there seemed to be like a raft of wrestlers like posting publicly they wanted to leave WWE, and WWE let like nearly none of them go. So he's got his wish now. Some 18 months, 2 years later.
Okay, I'm reading. See, fans have a different way of reacting to when one of their favorites gets released, and we'll talk about the boo personality in a minute.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of these guys, let's say Dolph Ziggler, and I may have said this last week, and I did put it up on my X account. It seems like he's been there since the end of the Vietnam War. He's been there forever. Really, almost 20 years he's been there, which is almost a record. Now, I don't know what his deal was, but say he was making, let's say $750,000.
I'd say more. He had such tenure. I bet 1.5. 1.5, let's say. Who knows?
Okay. I went on the short end but a lot of that time, he didn't even leave his house. And all of a sudden, he's not going to bitch and moan about getting released because he made tremendous money for doing zero. I don't even think they called him up on the phone and asked him his idea on anything. So he's not going to bitch and moan. And it's like pro football. Pro football, like coaches and guys, they get hired to actually get fired or traded. And that's all this is. So he can continue his career. See, pro football players cannot continue their career because they don't have another league. They do have one, but I don't think they want to mess with it because the money's not there. Mm-hmm. But he can continue his career. He can still go to Japan. He can still go to bigger independents. He can do that stuff. So somebody said, well, he's too talented. He should be on the main roster. This is the analogy I came up with. I used to live in Nashville. Every Friday and Saturday night, you could go down to 2nd Avenue in Nashville and listen to the music coming out of those clubs. Every one of those guys could be on the main roster at the Grand Ole Opry because they are that good. But somehow they don't have the connections or they don't have the political power to get them there. So a lot of them just make a career out of working 2nd Avenue. A lot of those guys, they work 5 and 6 clubs a night. They'll start about 8 o'clock. And he'll go and they'll play an hour at one club. Then they'll go down 2 blocks down the street, play at another club from 9 to 10. And they do that all night long. And that's the same way. That's the same way with wrestling. I mean, wrestling is what you make it. And some of these guys make it and save their money. Some guys don't. But I have no control of that, nor do the fans.
Let's stick with Dolph. He was in the company at the same time as you for several years in WWE. I don't know how many run-ins with you or chats with him that you had, but any stories with Dolph?
No, I would sit down and talk to him sometimes, very pleasant. He's a sharp guy. He really is. So, and he's going to take what the environment gives him, the business environment gives him. Because once he got his money up, now you can either do something with me or you won't do something with me. But yet the money does not change, which is a big difference from years ago because you got paid and this is when it was just paid off house shows. You got paid on the number of people in the crowd or the number of dollars in the gate. But now, since it's a different business model with WWE, you don't do that. You got guaranteed money. And of course, they're not giving him all that money. He's making it. I mean, he's available for everything. Plus, they're selling all of his gimmicks. They're taking care of all of his T-shirts and this, that, and the other. And all that goes back to make up what they call the downside. So whether he works enough to actually earn that, all his other stuff is all added in. So they got it figured out. So
I find it incredible. Let's say it's like let's say it's $1 million or 1.5 million, whatever he was, especially in the later years.
Okay, wait a minute. Is it 1 million or 1.5?
I'm guessing.
You're confusing me. Let's say 1 million.
Let's say $1 million a year. He's making $1 million a year for the most part, especially in the last couple of years, to sit at home and do absolutely nothing. Fair play to the guy. I'd love it.
Would you do it? Would you do it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'd do it.
I know, yeah. I mean, it's a great gig. I mean, I'm sure like he could be frustrated and stuff, but
I knew a guy. He worked on the ring crew. And they kind of forgot about him. And he's been kind of sitting at home for the last couple of years. And they never call him to go anywhere, or they never say this. It's almost like he's forgotten, except he's getting paid. So what a deal he's got. The Iron Sheik was in WCW. And I don't know how this happened, but he's glad it did. I think he had an automatic rollover if they didn't make an effort to rescind it or to renegotiate it. It rolled over automatically. And his rolled over, I think he was, this is 20 years ago.
30
or more.
This is like 1990 something.
Well, it's 30 years ago. I think he was making $250 back in those days, and it rolled over. So he made another $500,000, and they forgot about him.
I think the story I heard is almost exact, but I heard he was making $125 a year, and then it rolled over, and he got paid another $125 to make $250 over the course of 2 years. And then in the second year, they tried to bring him back to TV, and he was so bad they just sent him home again. Yeah.
One thing about my stories, never let facts and stuff get in the way of a good story. Just roll with it. And you ought to said, no, I heard he was making $300,000.
No, we've been arguing over Dolph Ziggler's money, and neither of us know.
No, I don't know, but I don't know how they can pay that much money and then not ask the guy to do all that much.
I know. Have too much money. Have too much money. That's how you do it.
He's been down to NXT, Dolph, what, a year or so, 2 years?
Yeah.
He's been down there. Well, but more power to him. Good guy.
Yeah, I'll end on this. Apparently, he was someone that Vince McMahon never really saw top star in, which sort of explains his ascension. He could be world champion to absolutely bottom of the pile the next year. So he just a sort of schizophrenic sort of booking in that sense.